name is Jared. I am your Ortovox rep. I am here to talk about snow safety equipment. No matter how many antennas there are in a beacon, only one antenna is sending out the signal, right? And it sends it in this apple-shaped pattern. If you're buried where it says very high visibility, you're going to be buried flat, and that apple core signal is going to be going out along the snow. Your friends are searching in that plane, right? They're holding their beacon out like this. Your beacon is transmitting like that. That's a very good, what we call coupling. That conversation, you're very, very highly visible. And those beacons are gonna talk to each other really, really well. If you're buried in that second position, it's sending the beacon, the signal up and coming down. That signal is being interpreted by that Z antenna, which is really, really, really tiny. It doesn't give you very good directionality, and also your range just goes down. You're losing all that length because that length is going up into the sky and has to come back down. So depending on how you're buried can make you more visible or less visible, unless you're carrying an Ortovox beacon. We have what's called smart antenna. It's got an accelerometer in it. This thing is always going to know what orientation it's in, and depending on where you settle out, if it's like this, it's going to transmit here. If it's like that, it's going to transmit from here. That is totally unique to Ortovox. Nobody else has that. So a lot of people like to say this is the selfish man's beacon, because if I'm carrying this beacon and I'm buried, no matter what beacon you guys have, I'm gonna send out, I'm throwing out a better signal, arguably, than any other beacon out there. So that's smart antenna technology. The Zoom, the 3 Plus, and the S1 Plus all have that smart antenna technology. The 3 Plus, now what you get here is you get the smart antenna, you get the Reco reflector, you get 3 antennas, 1 AA battery, so very good power management. What we add to this beacon is that signal flagging. So you have the signal flagging interpretation for multiple burials. We need a way to figure out who's who and where everybody's at. So in that situation, it's very easy for a beacon to get confused because there's multiple signals and they're overlapping and then separating and then overlapping. What we do is we have what's called reliable signal flagging. We take 3 things. We take the transmission pulse, we take the pulse period, which is basically from the first pulse starting to the second pulse starting, and we also take the time in between. So we're grabbing onto every single signal that's coming in, and we're measuring all 3 of those times. And there will never, if these 2 beacons, if I had 2 of the exact same beacons and they rolled off the factory floor one right after the next, all 3 numbers will never exactly be the same. There's just milliseconds of tolerance between electronics that you will never get that exact same pulse. And what it does is it, with a surety, after just a couple of pulses, it says, okay, you're you, I can tell the difference between signals. It happens very, very quickly. And you're out here with this strength and you're out here with this strength. So it really helps you manage reliably when you have multiple burial situations. You can see here there's a button with a little flag on it. You get up to your first burial, you hit the button, and whether you're right on top of them or you haven't dug him out yet or whatever, you hit that button and it ignores it. And then it'll say, okay, we're going on to the next burial, and you'll get a new signal and a new arrow with a new number. Okay, so that's how you handle multiple burials with the 3 Plus. This is also updatable. So you can throw this into what we call an up box, and like for this year, there's new software available, just better power management, better signal flagging, better, as they make improvements to the software, you can update this when there's a new software package. Basically, with this guy, all you're gonna do, you have a little battery symbol there, you have 0 and you have 1. So basically, to turn this on, you're gonna pull this. It's gonna run through its self-diagnostic check. And then you can see 99% battery, and then you'll see that it'll start pulsing, and it's telling you I'm in transmit mode on the little screen there. In order to go into receive, this is the same with the zoom. You can see how it's got the same little deal. We don't want to accidentally go into receive mode. We don't want you to be receiving. We always want to be transmitting just in case something happens. So you need both fingers. You're going to pull out, and then the little button pops out, and now you're receiving signals instead of transmitting. This beacon also has what we call a partner check mode. Maybe your beacon is not transmitting to its full 50 meters. Maybe it's only transmitting 20 meters. Maybe it's only transmitting 10. Maybe you dropped it and you broke that coil that's inside that, that antenna, and it's only transmitting with half the antenna, so you're getting half the range. Very, very possible that something like that could happen. So what this does is when we go into a special mode, partner check mode, what it does is it simulates, it like turns itself down. So instead, even if a beacon is this far away, it goes into a mode and says, I'm not this far away, I'm 50 meters away. So every beacon that comes by, it checks it as if it were, no matter what the range is, it's not only checking that it's getting a signal, but that signal is going to be at the full 50 meters. So you're just reducing risk at every single part of the process. Remember how I said it's updatable? You can throw this one in the up box. It runs a full diagnostic. We'll give you a printout, says this is your strength, it's functioning properly, everything is working, blah, blah, blah. And you can actually get a printout at the beginning of the season to make sure that if you have dropped your beacon or whatever, somebody can come in and just say, can you check this to make sure it's working right? And if there's an update, throw it on there. Ortovox has another really, really cool feature, and this is in all the beacons as well. It's called auto revert. With the accelerometers in this thing, after 90 seconds, if you stop moving, a little alarm will go off. And if you don't move this thing within 30 seconds, at 120 seconds, 2 minutes, this thing is going to say, you're caught in a second avalanche. I'm going to immediately switch back. No matter what you do, I'm going to switch back and start transmitting again.